Dear parents, carers and students and staff members, this is the audio version of my letter dated 8th of June 2020, which focuses on the education programme for this half term, including phased reopening to Year 10 and Year 12 students. Following receipt of the DfE secondary school guidance, I'm now writing to explain the education programme for this half term as currently intended, subject to any other changes in government policy or in the local or national situation. Amnesty Week, Year 7 to 10. As the letters from Heads of Achievement made clear, this is not a week off for any student. Since last Thursday's emails, each family should now have a clearer sense of how much of the work set since we moved to distance learning has not yet been completed, or at least not yet uploaded through My Highcliffe. The new facility in My Highcliffe to view a list of missing uploads should make it more straightforward for students and their parents to know exactly what needs to be done to catch up this week. For some students, this will mainly mean uploading work they had already done before moving on to the extension work. For others, it needs to be a busy week completing missing learning tasks. Students whose uploads were in the above average or well above average groups should get fully up to date quickly, and for them and those students in the other categories once they've caught up, teachers will direct their classes to extension work found on the many online learning platforms widely available, including Oak National Academy, the BBC and the subject-specific websites we already use. These will be viewable on My Highcliffe when parents and students log in. Finally, in Year 10, access will be given to 2 Eton College online units for A-level preparation, one on resilience as a learner and one on essay writing skills. They can be done during Amnesty Week or completed over a few weeks. Key worker provision. This is relocated to Da Vinci and the weekly timetable has extended to include a full programme with subject teachers. Students follow the distance learning education their peers receive. The recently updated DfE protective measures in schools guidance has been fully applied in Da Vinci this week and works well. As a result, we are very confident the zoning, social distancing and hygiene routines put in place will work well in other parts of the school for Year 10 and Year 12. Distance learning for Year 7 to 12. The DfE guidance continues to advise us Years 7 to 9 will not return to school this half term, although of course we hope this may change. For Years 10 and 12, the guidance also confirms the focus remains on distance learning, supported by limited reopening in school. Consequently, our main strategy is to continue to develop the quality and consistency of distance learning, based on specific feedback from year councils and parents as well as staff. But as per the guidance, we will also provide face-to-face support. Starting after the 15th of June, Heads of Achievement or Sixth Form Heads of Year will be arranging academic review appointments to evaluate students' engagement with distance learning and the overall quality of their work and agree an action plan in response. These will involve a parent or parents and student and will be online or by phone for Years 7 to 9, but offered first as face-to-face meetings in school for Years 10 and 12. Those students least engaged in distance learning will be prioritised. Starting after the 22nd of June, subject teachers will start adding into their distance learning programme online learning reviews in groups, which will include additional live lessons which all their students will need to log into at the correct time in their timetable. Phased reopening to Year 10. From Monday the 15th of June, the school site will reopen for up to 25% of Year 10 a week for 3 days at a time on weekly rotation. During the 3 days each cohort is in school, they will have 4 hours of learning review lessons in maths, English and science, and 3 hours in their main humanities subject, either history or geography. Each cohort of students will be organised in bubble learning groups of no more than 15 of the same students for all these lessons. These groups are unlikely to reflect existing peer friendships, except by coincidence. Each bubble learning group will be restricted to the use of one classroom and science lab only. Students in different bubble learning groups will not be able to mix with each other at break and lunchtime, but will have access to the outdoors in zones. As students all take different option combinations, the school cannot provide in-school lessons in the option subjects without repeatedly changing the bubble learning groups. leading to a level of social mixing prohibited by the DFE guidance. Learning reviews will take place online in these subjects instead. The DFE encourages schools to provide more face-to-face support for students least engaged with distance learning. So, in addition to being prioritised for academic review appointments with Mr. Goddard's team from the 15th of June, these Year 10 students will be inspected in school for 2 weeks worth of sessions in due course. Further information will be published to Year 10 by the school from Wednesday the 10th of June onwards. Phased reopening to Year 12. From Tuesday the 23rd of June, the school site will reopen for subject learning reviews to Year 12 students, with visits for each of their subjects. During each visit, students will have 4 hours of learning review in a subject in the morning, plus an option to stay in school in the afternoon for a one-to-one or attend a small group subject tutorial. To achieve the 25% restriction, students are having generated for them individualised timetables determined by which option block their subjects are in and how big their class is. Larger classes will be subdivided into 2. Each bubble learning group will be restricted to the use of one classroom. Students in different bubble learning groups will not be able to mix with each other at break and lunchtime, but will have access to the outdoors in zones. The DFE encourages schools to provide more face-to-face for Year 12 students least engaged with distance learning, and so in addition to being prioritised for academic review appointments with Miss Swan's team from the 22nd of June onwards, individual arrangements will be made for those Year 12 students to spend more study time in school with supervision and support. Further information will be published for Year 12 from Monday the 15th of June onwards. Other reopening information. Information published to Year 10 and 12 will include notification to students of the dates they will be in school, their timetables, school day timings, and a full information pack about the zoning, social distancing and hygiene routines. As parents, students and staff would expect, our focus is on safety on site. The school catering service will not be operating, so students must bring their own snacks, drinks and lunches. Information about dress code, non-uniform for Year 10, will be sent to students along with the other information mentioned above. Normal school transport will also not operate. The bike sheds will be open. Students are reminded that from the 15th of June, anyone using public transport must wear a face mask. In addition, students must take great care to maintain social distancing from others on the journey to school, whether being dropped off by car, on public transport, walking or cycling. Whilst the routines on site and even the appearance of classrooms will be different to normal, we have planned carefully to provide a welcoming, safe environment as well as educationally meaningful experiences, and students will receive a very warm welcome. We are really looking forward to seeing Year 10 and 12 students back on site soon. Thank you again for your support for our efforts since the 23rd of March. Best wishes, Patrick Earnshaw, Head Teacher.